Happy Monday, Flosstube. Happy Monday. It is June 3rd, 2019, and have I got a story for you today. Oh boy, it's a good one. Okay, but before I get to that, I have to address something that happened in last Monday's video. I had a couple of comments about the music in last Monday's video, and that was a mistake. So I'm going to apologize right now. I don't know what the heck. Pardon me for a minute. The cat is knocking at the front door. Hang on a moment. I'll be right back. She's ready for her nap, apparently. Okay, cat's in. She's right at my feet at the moment. In case you're wondering, this is not my cat. This is my neighbor's cat. She comes over during the day while her owners are out at work and at school, and she hangs out with me most days. Pam out in Newfoundland, who has fantastic Flosstube videos, Pam's Crafty Corner, calls me the cat borrower, hashtag cat borrower. She found a funny clip she posted on the Friday Off the Grid group. I thought it was really funny because I am a cat borrower. So this is Sasha. And she is just the loveliest cat. So she wears a bell because she's also quite a mouser. So I don't think her family appreciates the treats that she's brought home. However, okay, getting back to the music issue from last week. That was a mistake. I was in a bit of a rush trying to get the editing done last week. Didn't double check my work. And for some reason, somehow I had a duplicate copy of the intro music start again, and I don't think I checked the volume on it, and it was a little bit louder than usual. My apologies. I usually only play the intro music once. It runs for just under 3 minutes, or just over 3 minutes, I can't remember. I usually drop the volume down when I start speaking. I will try to make an effort to drop it down one more notch. I like to play the intro music, so I hope you don't mind. I'm going to keep it in, but I will drop it down one more notch to keep the volume a little lower for those who are distracted by having that over top of my talking. I don't think it's too loud. Last week's was definitely a mistake. So moving forward, if it's still distracting you, let me know. It only runs for about 3 minutes. And I really like it. Okay, so I have a story for you today. I have to back up to last week. Last week, I mailed out a project bag set to a customer in Toronto. And I always like sending bags out across Canada because, well, I'm Canadian and it's fun. And so I sent this bag to Toronto, and then a few days later, the customer posted a picture on their Instagram feed and said, received my bag, love it, it's great. And so a few hours later, when I went in to, hit the like button and say thank you for posting about the bag, I just started reading some of the stuff that she'd put on it, and she had some funny hashtags. I love funny hashtags. Her profile picture, she had a Post-it note stuck on her head, and I enjoy funny people. And so I read the comments and I read the hashtags, and she mentioned something about wanting to go to Gita's, which is a cross-stitch shop near Toronto. I think it's in Port Credit. I've never been, but her hashtags were really funny about how the highway was too scary to drive on. And so I left her a comment and I said thank you, and I left a funny hashtag. Also, I don't exactly remember what I said, but basically implying that I'd be happy to drive around the scary highway to go to the local needlework shop, because I'm always, happy to help other people spend their money on cross-stitch supplies. So then I started looking at her Instagram photos, and I noticed that she had a picture of Pam and Steph there. And then I realized her name is Ellen. And I thought back to Pam and Steph's video from just over a week ago. Congratulations, Pam and Steph, first of all, on their 2-year video, 2-year Flosstube anniversary. And they posted a special video, and Ellen was the Ellen who had made them that composite video with it was really, and that's how I'm like, oh, that Ellen, because I'd seen the video, and that's a lot of work. that Ellen had done a lot of work on putting that together for Pam and Steph. It was amazing. It was phenomenal. I thought, oh, that's the same Ellen. That's the same Ellen who bought a bag from me. That's so cool. And then I started, because I was then looking at her photos, and I was looking at her her info at the top of her Instagram feed, because she's from Toronto, and you know, as you do, you're usually a little more interested in, not that I'm not interested in other people, but you tend to look a little more carefully at people who live near you, stitchers who are near you, and you think, ooh, maybe I'll have a new stitchy friend. So I started reading her bio info, and it said something about being in a band. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then www.crashtestdummies.com, and I'm like, wait a minute, Crash Test Dummies? No, that can't be the Ellen from Crash Test Dummies. That's just like, that's not even possible. Turns out it is. Turns out it is. Do you want to see a picture of Ellen? I'm going to put one right here. Yeah, Ellen is a bona fide Canadian rock star. She really is. You know how we say you're a rock star? If you do something amazing, like put together such an amazing video for Pam and Steph, you're a rock star. Ellen really is a rock star. Truly a rock star. Crash Test Dummies, huge, huge Canadian band. Started out in Winnipeg. They are phenomenal. And Ellen is co-vocals. She's been with the band since the beginning. She has a solo album out. She's a phenomenal singer. She's a rock star. And she's a cross-stitcher. We have been like catapulted into cooldom. So isn't that amazing? Rockstar Ellen of the Crash Test Dummies and solo indie fame. Not only is a cross-stitcher and watches Flosstube, but she is a funny, neat person. And so Ellen, I am totally in for picking you up in my car, as I'm not crazy, and driving you to a local needle workshop and helping you spend your money. I'm happy to help you choose fabrics, and you know, because it's shopping, cross-stitch shopping, and you're Canadian and Crash Test Dummies. Like, seriously, I can't even. Is that not crazy or what? I thought you would. I thought everybody might enjoy that little bit of a story. Anyways, okay, I'm gonna calm down now since I'm clearly a little bit fangirling for real at the moment. So, let's get back to cross stitch. Okay, back to cross stitch. We had a draw from last week. Lizzie Kate Flip It. This was the Because Monday draw from last week. It was a Lizzie Kate Flip It. It comes with the charm. I had 76 comments on this in the Facebook group, and it was comment number 22 that was chosen by the random number generator. And congratulations, Virginia Miller. You are the winner of last week's Because Monday Family Christmas Chart with Charm. And if you send me your address, I'll get this out in the mail to you. And thanks to everyone for leaving me such great comments. We have a new draw up for today because it's Monday. And it's designed by Bobby Merrick. And I think her company's name is called Water's Edge. This is the design. So it's a 4 seasons pattern. It's called All Seasons. And never been stitched. Brand new in the package. Now sometimes when I send these out, I do actually remove them from the plastic case only because they tend to fit better in the envelopes that I mail them out in. I hope that's okay. I hope you don't mind. But anyways, this is what's up for today. The threads called for are let's picture this plus fabric and Gentle Arts threads. There are no conversions. No, there are no conversions on the chart. It is charted for sampler threads and plus 1 DMC 310 as the black, and 2 containers of beads. Where are the beads? Maybe that's in the border. I don't know. I haven't opened the pattern up yet because I wanted to keep it new, but it's so cute. I love the umbrella and the snowman because, you know, snow, but it's adorable. So that's the pattern that's up for grabs today, and you'll find the entry for that over on the Facebook group, Friday Off the Grid. And whoops, I only have one whip this week. We went to the cottage this weekend. I'll share more about that on the Friday video, where I have a little bit more of chit-chat stuff. Chit-chat, personal stuff. We'll try to keep Monday Flosstube mostly to Flosstube stuff. So I worked on Quaker Diamonds because I am participating in Jen Lee's Quirks and Stitches hashtag 24 hours of cross stitch monthly challenge. That's a mouthful. And I'm using Winter Quakers as my project for the letter W in the words 24. And my challenge for myself is to put 2,400 stitches into this whip in the month of July. So this is my big focus piece for this month. The other whips that I have for the other letters will be much smaller, much like either a time value like 24 minutes on a whip, or you know, maybe even just 240 stitches on a whip. But this one is my large focus piece. So Quaker Diamonds, and did I bring the pattern? No, I did not. I didn't bring the pattern. So you'll have to forgive me. I'm just going to show you my whip. Actually, and then I'll show you my whip, and then I'll pause the video and go and get the pattern so you can see the full thing. Okay, so are you ready? I took it out of the Q-snap on the weekend and put it on some scroll rods temporarily just to stitch, and then took it off again and ironed it so that I could share it with you. So there's the stitching that I already had done, and I showed you that motif at the, what side would that be? Well, you know, the red and the blue one right there. That was what I worked on last week. And then here's my progress from this past weekend. Ta-da! Now, as you can see, the pale sort of pinky peach color on the newish diamond is almost done, but not quite complete. I had to frog part of that diamond. I fixed it. I finished fixing it this morning during my my coffee and crafting time, and so I re-stitched the part that I had to frog. Now, as you can see, I did not finish that other diamond with the blue diamonds on the inside, because when I got to the cottage, the first thing that I realized was that I hadn't brought that blue thread. I had left that blue floss here at home. So I still have to get on and finish that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this piece for my Friday Off the Grid stitching, and I'm going to leave those blue diamonds to work on because it's very simple stitching and it'll be easy to talk while I do that. So this was just under 500 stitches that I put in on Saturday. Didn't have a lot of time. I had like no time on Friday or Sunday for extracurricular stitching because we were driving mostly, and you know, last night was spent getting ready for the week. So yay, it's coming along. So after I finish the little bit more on the new diamond, fill in the blue diamonds, I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to work my way across the top so that I have the entire top part of the design done this month in June as part of the 2,400 stitches. That's the plan. Oh, I love it so much. Okay, so let me just tell you the details of the fabric. This is a 32 count linen. Again, no idea what flavor it is. It looks like doubloon from Picture This Plus. I think that's what it is. And 32 count linen, and then the threads, this is a conversion done with discontinued Vicky Clayton silks. and it's been in my stash forever. I started it forever ago, and I just love it. It's been really nice to be working on it again. So, all right, let me just pause the video so that I can just show you the cover page so you know what it's going to look like. Okay, most of you already know what this looks like, but there's always going to be somebody new or somebody who hasn't seen this pattern before, and you'll want to see it if you've never seen it. So this is Rosewood Manor pattern designed by Karen Kluba, and it's called Quaker Diamonds. And there it is in all of its glory. It is, I could literally stare at this all day, and I find myself staring at my stitching while I'm working on it because it's just so pretty. It's just so pretty. The combination of I'm happy with my colors and my fabric, and it's just one of those really enjoyable stitches. You are changing threads often because it'll be, you know, just a few stitches and here and there and all over the place, and so that slows me down quite a bit, but the end product is just so pretty. Like the one that I just started, this diamond here, look at all that little detail that's going to happen on the inside there. It's just so pretty. Just these little delicate flowers on the inside. So that's exciting. And that's all I worked on since last week. I mean, I did bring out the Blackbird Designs, the loose feathers pattern that I worked on Friday, but I only put one more letter in the alphabet. I haven't done anything else since then. It was a really busy weekend, but it was so nice to be back up north. We had a wonderful weekend. This time of year is very, very, very busy, and I know it is for most families. It's a very busy time of year generally for you know, end of school year. Sarah is graduating high school, so we've got all of those extra events and things happening, you know, choosing university, prom, graduation. Nicholas is finishing up stuff, so, you know, trying to make sure that he's got his homework finished because he's got testing in school for all the different units that they've been doing as well. Just life, finishing up the teaching studio for me, end of year is always just a little bit extra busy. So to be able to get away this weekend and not do much of anything all day Saturday in our favorite place was really, really nice. My dog isn't doing so well. I'm a little concerned about her at the moment. I've mentioned this in various other places. She has a growth on the front of one of her legs, and I noticed it back in February. The vet had a look and manipulated it and said it didn't seem to be causing her much pain. She's still eating well. She's still, you know, everything else is normal. I mean, other than she's almost 13 and a big dog. So she has, you know, the usual aging things happening that goes along with big dogs. But over the last month, this lump has grown and it is now causing her to limp. So her front leg, she's limping on her front leg, but she's also got trouble with her back legs as well. So she did kind of fall down we have a 2-stair. They're not really narrow, so she's got enough space, but I think because she was favoring the front leg and the back end kind of went out, she sort of fell down the stairs and did a bit of a face plant in the living room. Fortunately, didn't seem to hurt herself. She got right back up again, but it did. I think she took note in her own little doggy way because she's been a lot more careful now coming down the stairs. So you know, at the back of my mind, I'm worried about her. I'm worried that this is going to be one of those things that turns into something that we can't fix. And she's a big dog, and if she can't walk, I don't know. We're going to have to take it one day at a time. Anyways, so that's what's going on in my little life at the moment. So yeah, Quaker Diamonds. That's what it's all about, and I can't wait to get back to it. Okay, so I'm going to take a little, I'm going to pop in a little ad from YouTube here. You may or may not get it, and that's okay. And I will be right back with from the mailbag section. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, all right. So I'm going to start off with from the mailbag section of the podcast with the Flosstube mentions. And I'd like to kind of make this so that this is at the beginning of this segment, so that in case, you know, you don't make it to the end, lots of people don't make it to the end. We all have busy lives and lots of Flosstube to watch. So I'm going to make sure that these mentions happen at the beginning of this section from now on, so that I make sure that it happens and more people will see it. Okay, so just two today. The first one is Magic Pond Crafts, and the Flosstuber, her name is Yurgita, and she has a lovely accent, and I look forward to going back to her channel and checking out some of her older videos. She has lots of whips and more eclectic projects, you know, lots of different projects on the go, and I always enjoy that kind of thing where people are stitching lots of different projects that we don't always see all over. Not that there's anything wrong with stitching projects that everybody else is stitching, because it's all stitching, it's all good. Sometimes it's just nice to see things that maybe might enable me to think, oh, I didn't know that existed, and maybe I need to add that to my list of things that I need. And the second Flosstube channel is a woman named Jane Nielson. She is originally from Denmark. But she does record in English. Jane Nielson. Now, I don't think that's the actual name of your channel, but I believe I found you by searching Jane Nielson Flosstube. So I'll make sure that I put the actual name of your channel in the drop down box below. I will go back and make sure that I get it right. So just those two channels today. Please, if you have a channel and I haven't shouted out your name already, feel free to leave me a comment below so that I can let other people know about you, and so that we can visit each other, which is always really nice. It's so much fun, isn't it? Everybody has such different style and tastes, and just because it might not be something that I would choose to stitch, I love listening to you tell me about why you're excited about what you're stitching and working on, and, you know, seeing different fabrics that people have chosen. And it's a lot of fun. So much fun. Flosstube is amazing. All right. Next question comes from Lorraine. And Lorraine wants to know about the fabric behind me. That is, she wanted to know, what is the fabric wrapped on? Those are comic book boards. And that was a trick from my sister-in-law, Kathy. That's how she wrapped her fabric, and she gave me a pack of comic book cards a couple of years ago for Christmas, and so that's what they're on. It makes them very convenient to store smaller, you know, fat quarter, fat half. Fat quarter, not so much. You really have to, this is more than fat quarter stuff. Also, I think Christine, Stitch All the Things, I'm pretty sure she also uses comic book boards, and her fabric storage is like phenomenal. Honestly, her sewing space is incredible. All right, so comic book boards, and I think Kathy just ordered them from Amazon. I think they're pretty easy to find. Okay, Karen left a comment about the Carrie's Creations silk thread that I was talking about last week. I mentioned that a few people had told me that it seemed like her website was shut down, that she was no longer selling. Apparently, Carrie still sells to shops. Traditional Stitches, they're out in Calgary. Apparently, they still stock Carrie's threads. You can still order them through Traditional Stitches, although delivery may be slow. And now those were Karen's words there. So, you know, you can order it. How long it's going to take, I'm not sure. So, however, that is great news because her thread seems quite nice. So, carriesthreads.com, or was that the website? I don't know. I don't have the thread right in front of me, but if you know silk floss, you will have heard of her thread before. Okay, that's it. It was a really light week on the questions. I had a lot of really beautiful comments about the gift that I shared last week from Musical Stitches, Jennifer, and at Musical Stitches is her Instagram. I don't think Jennifer has a Flosstube. Perhaps maybe one day in the future, Jennifer. Never know. But let me know if you do have a Flosstube, and I'm speaking out of turn that you don't, but I'm pretty sure you don't. Jennifer made the most beautiful, thoughtful ornament it was a beagle with a small Christmas design, and it meant a lot to me. And I told the story on last week's video, and so many people had wonderful things to say about Jennifer's gift, and I wanted to thank you all for leaving me such nice comments. So thank you. Okay, the last question I've saved is from Kyle. So, question from Kyle, and I've taken a photograph of it because I wanted to read it properly. Kyle asks, what exactly causes the slubs in linen fabrics? I have always been fairly confused as to why this occurs and why it isn't taken care of when producing the fabric for distribution. I think this is a great question, and I don't know the answer. So anything that I say right now is really just a guess. So I'm really hoping that we get some viewers who are knowledgeable about linen production, who can, and I have a feeling that we will, that can help answer this question properly. So my best guess is that because this is a natural fiber, that you're just getting the naturally occurring, flax or, whatever is in that material. It is flax, isn't it? Is it flax? I don't know. See, I don't know. Let's show how much I don't know. However, it is a it's a natural fabric, right? Whereas even weaves and those sorts of things, which are more man-made, you're going to have them be even, right? Like you're not going to find those inconsistencies in the fabric. And I kind of liken that to yarn, where you will have some yarns that are considered a little sheepier than other yarns, where they might still have the odd bit of, flotsam and jetsam from the sheep that you're knitting. So you may get the occasional little twig of straw or something like that that will come out with the yarn as you're knitting it. And I always found that kind of charming. Now, as to why this isn't taken care of when producing the fabric for distribution, well, I would think that would be so incredibly time consuming to do that for this naturally occurring thing, that the cost would be prohibitive. I mean, that would really be, I don't think that would be something that they would be able to do without having the cost of it, go through the roof. How do you handle slubs in linen? I mean, frankly, I just ignore them unless I am, feeling a little bit feisty and I take my scissors to an unruly slub on a live Friday off the grid stitching video. Not that I've ever done that. However, I've been known to do that in the past. You shouldn't. You really, what you should do is just leave that slub alone. Don't touch it. Don't pull at it. Just leave it. Pretend, that it's part of the fabric, and you just stick your needle in through the slub right where you think the hole should be, and just it is part of the fabric, and you just deal with it as part of the fabric. I usually only will snip off a slub if it is visibly like it looks like a little thread, and you really even shouldn't do that. You really shouldn't do that. I am terrible at following my own advice, because you shouldn't even do that. You shouldn't snip it. You should just totally leave it alone, because the chances are high that if you are fiddling with it, pulling at it, tugging at it, snipping it, you're going to cut a hole in your fabric. So I really shouldn't be doing that. Anyway, confessions of a Flosstuber. Okay, so that's Kyle's question. I really hope that we're going to get some actually professional opinions and information on this subject that are better than my ramblings. Okay, that's it. That is it for From the Mailbag. That's all I had today. And the only other thing is a shop update, a little shop update for Evertote, which is the little business for project bags that I run. I have no update today, really. No new bags to show today because I am working on the orders from last week. I'm not going to work on anything new until all of the orders that are already in the queue have gone out. I'm a little bit behind because of I normally work weekends, and the last 2 weekends in a row we have had plans, and in fact this coming weekend I have big plans. Someone very special is coming to visit me, and I'm going to leave that just right there. I'm going to leave that hanging just for now. Someone very special is coming to visit me, and I will tell you all about it when that person arrives. And so this coming weekend is full, so I have to work and get last week's orders ready and out the door. So no new bags this week. However, I have some cut for next week. So look to see some new stuff next week, and I'll have a little shop update where I can show them to you at the end of next Monday's Flosstube video. Okay, so I tried to do this a little earlier today than I normally would record because my daughter is, every other day she's done school early. She only has one class every other day. And so that sounds a bit funny, doesn't it? She did a summer, she kind of got ahead. She did a summer school course every summer for the last 3 years. So by the time she got to her grade 12 year, she had a bit of extra time in order to focus, have a little bit of extra study time for those harder math courses that she had to take. So it's just the way her schedule worked out, where she has 3 spares on every other day. So every other day, I'm very lucky that my girl comes home early and she's here in time for lunch. And lately she's been taking my car to school, and she is very kind. She offers to usually pick up a few groceries on her way home. So she's going to be home soon, and I wanted to make sure I was done before she got home so that we can have lunch together before I get back to work. So that's it for today. I hope you have a great week. I hope you have some time to put some stitches into your whips, and that you are loving whatever it is that you're working on, and have a great week. I will see you on Friday for Friday Off the Grid. Take care.